The iPhone 14 Pro may have been on the market since September of last year, but it's still one of the best picks in the smartphone game today. And I've been pretty blown away with the Google Pixel 7a's performance. I know the A16 Bionic wasn't the A17, but definitely an improvement over the Apple A15. And while the Google Pixel 7a isn't a direct competitor to this phone, it's still kind of crazy how you could save yourself $500, get the same size screen as an iPhone 14 Pro with a Tensor G2, which is basically like what you'll get in a Pixel 7 Pro. So let's go ahead and boot up both these phones and see how they perform next to each other in 3, 2, go. We're actually gonna see how much performance do you get on the right versus the left, because you're gonna be saving $500. That is a huge savings for a phone that has a competitive CPU as well as a competitive size. So the Google Pixel 7a does boot up faster than the iPhone 14 Pro. So let's take a look at their biometric unlocking. The Face ID is what's dominating iPhone 14 Pro. And let me tell you, it's better than ever on the 14 Pro. What it got specifically better at was different angles. And now they got that little animation with the dynamic island. Now, for the Google Pixel 7a, we are looking at an in-display optical fingerprint sensor, which has been pretty butter for me so far. It's been actually very reliable. Now, I find that little animation to be quite visually pleasing, but if you're into more speedy in-display fingerprint sensor, you'll probably like some of the, Poco phones or even OnePlus. Those phones have very blazing fast animation to get in the phone. But honestly, like I say always, once you know where the fingerprint sensor is, I'm missing badly right there, but it still can be faster than, having to hold up your phone to go ahead and unlock like this. Now, the Google Pixel does have a face unlock feature through that punch hole camera as well, but it's not quite as secure, so I don't really test that as much in my speed tests. So pretty close here, but I would say the Pixel 7a a little faster in performance just because you don't actually have to look at the phone to unlock it. Now, when talking about the general software between both of these, what's nice about both of these is you get these very clean, simple software, iOS, pure Google Android on the right. And the thing is that both of them do have high refresh rate displays. This one has a 90 hertz. You have to go to the Pixel 7 Pro to get the faster 120 hertz. But let me tell you, you really don't even notice a major difference with the 90 hertz. It's almost the same thing. I don't think the average person would be able to tell. The jump between 60 and 90 is much bigger than the jump between 90 and 120. However, I found the Pixel 7a with the smooth display off, it's also pretty good even with the smooth display off. It kind of reminds me of like an iPhone 14 or an iPhone 14 Plus with the smooth display off. But once you tweak the smooth display on, now we're feeling like more like a pro like iPhone in that experience. So just generally scrolling through, I find no differences in speed. None at all. And that's pretty insane considering you're paying twice the money here. Yes, you're paying for more camera, but the Pixel is known for having a great camera as well. So this should be showcasing the value of the 7a. It's really quite strong if you really break it down and think about it. Both OLED displays, both super smooth, both really good cameras, both good battery life. These are pretty decent phone picks right here for sure. All right, so let's get into the application test, the app test right here. Let's see how close it's gonna be. Is it gonna be as close as the Celtics and the Heat last night? We'll have to see. Everything is closed out on both devices, and we'll see what happens here in Calendar, and that's faster on the iPhone. Now, the Google Calendar application is a more cloud-based calendar, so that could have slowed it down. iPhone faster there. Clock faster on the iPhone, Play Store, App Store. That might have been a little faster on the iPhone. And scrolling through, the iPhone looks smoother in its App Store. And the Pixel looking a little choppier there in its Play Store. Let's get up out of there. And we're going to go over here into Instagram. Instagram first there on, it looked like the Pixel. We'll go there, swipe out. We'll go here. Swipe out. So once you're in, pretty good. And a good thing about the Pixel device is that you do get really good Instagram posts too. So like Pixel does really good in social media applications, similar to the iPhone versus like a Samsung device, which also has been improving lately in that category, but historically wasn't the best there. Now the Pixel was faster here as well in Twitter. One thing to note though is while they both do have 6.1-inch displays, the Google Pixel does have a 20:9 aspect ratio, which means that it's narrower. The iPhone has a wider aspect ratio, which makes it a more enjoyable reading experience. However, the Pixel is a better, I would say, one-handed phone because of that narrower screen. It's easier to operate with one hand, although both of them quite easy. The Pixel is definitely a little bit of a lighter phone, but it does have thicker bezels, which I'm not a big fan of. But at this price point, I'm willing to forgive them because you really only notice them when you're comparing them to more premium phones. So pretty close here. We'll go into eBay. And you'll see eBay first on the right. Head up out of here. Starbucks. And Starbucks first on the left. That trigger 2. Here's where it'll get interesting. About the same there. Pixel a little bit faster there, but again, that's not really a heavy game. We'll go into Asphalt 9. And I gotta tell you, man, it's so amazing that Google put the premium processor in this phone at that price while giving you this larger feel. This is what I want Apple to do with the iPhone SE. I've been waiting for this, man. Come on, Apple. You gotta put more of a value proposition on the next, iPhone SE. It just has to be done if they want to be competitive with the next phone. It's enough of the, just treating it like a secondhand device. We need to really give it some love. So it looks like the iPhone 14 Pro has loaded up Call of Duty first. So again, we are looking at something more demanding and the iPhone was quicker. Let's go into Subway Surfers. And you'll find Subway Surfers loading faster on the iPhone for sure. Faster there. But this is not enough. It's going to change your life or experience or anything like that. Definitely not. Temple Run 2. And iPhone looks to be in the lead for sure. Yep, definitely on the iPhone. Again, though, look how close this is for half the price. This is ridiculous. Let's go into 3D Mark. I could tell you right now, the A54 from Samsung would definitely not be this close. Geekbench 6, and you'll see again with the iPhone. So I would say overall, in the general apps, it depends on the app. Some of them are faster in the Pixel, some are faster in the iPhone. Generally, though, I think the iPhone is still faster, but not by a lot. And because the Pixel experience is super smooth, I think it's a great alternative budget option if you want to save some cash. Let's go ahead and run through the RAM management now. We'll begin with the iPhone. As always, buttery smooth performance when going through the applications. I don't expect it to be any different here. eBay, Best Buy, Amazon, Groupon, Twitter, Mr. Tap, Instagram, App Store, just loading up the page. And boom, just butter all the way through. Buttery smooth. 8 gigs of RAM here. This is definitely a little bit more than the iPhone 14 Pro, but we all know the iPhone doesn't need quite as much RAM to perform stellar. Subway Surfers. And we're going to go over here to Call of Duty. Looks like we're getting a reload there. Asphalt 9, getting another reload. Dead Trigger 2 didn't hold. Starbucks didn't hold. Wow, this is pretty disappointing in this test. Yep, the Pixel showing where it might be choking a little bit. Yep, it's reloading a lot of these applications. So again, I was praising it for its great performance so far, but if you do really push it, it's not going to be a flagship grade, multitasking phone, but here's one cool thing. You can still split screen on the Pixel device, even though this is not your Samsung or anything like that. You can still do split screen applications. And that's something I think Apple needs to bring as well. But honestly, the iPhone did much better in the RAM management. Let's go ahead and run the Geekbench 6 test, and we will be back with their final results. All right, and our final Geekbench scores are in, and you could see that the iPhone is definitely really beating on the Google Pixel 7a, twice the score in the single, with almost triple, no, actually a little bit more than double on the multi-core score. But Geekbench 6 always wins out on the iPhone for pretty much every test I've done, so I don't consider that the last test. Let's go ahead and do a Wildlife Extreme. We're looking at the A16 versus the Google Tensor G2's chipset here. I'll be back when they are done. And here are our final Wildlife Extreme scores. The Pixel losing out here as well. 1639 on the overall score with an average frame rate of 10 FPS. And then we have 20 FPS on the iPhone with a score of 3343. Now scroll down, 82% better than other devices. Over here, about 43%. So according to this test, the iPhone is twice as fast. But you've seen throughout this video that wouldn't indicate the truth and reality of everyday usage. Now, if you do use, iMovie, you start editing videos and start rendering out content and stuff like that, and then you start playing some of the top level games on here, it's definitely going to feel probably like the faster phone, but the Pixel doesn't really slow down in pretty much anything I've done so far. So honestly, it's really more about, do you want to save some cash? Are you okay with using the Google ecosystem? Are you like, nope, I'm an iPhone user? That's really what it's down to. But I really think this shows that Apple needs to bring a competitor to the 7A. They need to bring an SE that gives us a 6.1-inch screen, something to compete better with this device, because this is pretty darn close to an iPhone 14 Pro when it just comes to the general offering, what it offers. 6.1-inch OLED, great cameras, great battery life, smooth display. That's pretty close to what the 14 Pro offers. That's pretty insane. So let me know your thoughts between both of these. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.